Hello, this is Edwin Dearborn coming to you on another edition of Growth Driven. The two most evergreen maxims in marketing and sales. And if you get these two right, you're going to grow. Hey, this is Edwin Dearborn coming to you, another edition of Growth Driven. Today I want to talk about the two most evergreen maxims, the rules that if you follow in marketing and sales, you will have success. These maxims were true 100 years ago, and I believe that they're even more true, even more relevant today with existing technology and opportunities. What are those two? Number one, the money is in the list. The money is in the list. And number two, the fortune is in the follow-up. Those are the two evergreen maxims in marketing and sales. So how do we use this today? How does this pan out today? So if you were to look into any small business, whether it's your business, somebody else's business that's not growing much, maybe failing or not obtaining their ambitious goals, there's always two places that I look to. Number one, how are you reaching your audience? And two, how often are you following up with your audience? And there's many different plays to these two old maxims. The money's in the list, the fortune's in the follow-up. So let's take the first one. The money is in the list. What does that mean in 2021 and moving forward? Your list can not only be mailing lists, it's your email list, it's the amount of followers that you have on social media, it's how many people attend your events, it's how many people buy your books. Basically, it's how many people are consuming your content via some type of list building that you've done. And lists can mean a lot of different things.
Number two, we take the fortunes in the follow-up. How often do you follow up? Well, let's take a look at that. So, when I look at a small business, I'll ask these questions. Do you have a CRM? Do you have an email database? The answer is, well, we have one, but we don't do much with it. Or names are scattered all over the place. Okay, so they really don't have a list. Okay, are you growing your list? What efforts are you trying to do to grow the list? What efforts are you trying to do to grow your followers? So if the money's in the list, there's two things we got to do. We got to engage the list, and that becomes easier with technology like CRMs, automation, chatbots, even using virtual assistants, hiring teams to do that, as well as how do we grow the list with advertising, events, public relations, content, SEO, whatever it does to attract attention and somehow get people to come into your stratosphere and somehow exchange their identity or their connection via social media. That's what we mean by building the list. Number two is the fortunes in the follow-up. Do you put your leads in a CRM? Do you drip on them content on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Are you posting content that's relevant, engaging, funny, thought-provoking, entertaining, eye-popping, attention-getting? Are you doing those things? Are you putting out content that's worthy of being found? Is the SEO done on it correctly? And I give you one example, and I've used this example many times. Just take a look at Grant Cardone. He puts out a ton of great content, well-produced, well-crafted, great guests. He puts those videos on YouTube. People discover him. They go down the rabbit hole. He's got calls to action. Download my free ebook, buy my book, attend my course, come to the 10X conference. All of it is putting out content to attract attention, build his list, and then he continues to follow up with his followers. And if you're on his email list, you're going to get emailed all the time and you're going to get retargeted. He's following up. He's building his list. he's building his audience, and he's continually following up. Okay, so you're saying to yourself, well, I'm not Grant Cardone, and I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that personality. I don't have his charm, his charisma. What do? I'm just the local dentist. I'm just the local bookkeeper. I'm just the local realtor. How do I use these maxims? Look, you can start small. You can start just going to networking events, get business cards, put them in a CRM, email them some content on a weekly basis, call them up once a month, see if they're ready to buy, see if they're ready to take action, continue to go to those events, continue to build your list. Reach out on LinkedIn. That's free. Going to networking events is usually free. So even if you lack the funds or the pizzazz or the sophistication, there's a way to grow your list and followers, and it's probably going to be very small. I'll just give you a couple examples. So I'm talking to a dentist, very successful, has followers on social media, has an email database. Do you routinely email your database? No. Do you send them engaging content? No. Do you post frequently, helpful tips, inspirational quotes, anything that's of use to the audience? No. So no proactive use of the very people that know him, love him, and trust him already. What a great source of reactivations. What a great source of referrals. What a great source of word of mouth. Or as David Meerman Scott calls it, word of mouse. Word of mouth is now word of mouse because it's all digital. I didn't say all, but a great amount is digital. And this is the two oldest maxims that when you implement and apply, regardless of size, regardless of your budget, regardless of your expertise, there's always a place to begin. There's always a starting point that will allow you to move forward and have progress in building your list and putting out content. Now, my book, Power Branding Secrets, I give very simple ways that if you can't create the content, you can curate the content and be the gatekeeper of content for others. I know a CPA in Orange County, California, he told me one time, all I do is I grow my connections on LinkedIn. I send out invitations to local professionals, and then I'm not very good at creating content, but I find articles like on Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes, etc., and I just post those 3 to 4 times a day. And I've gotten clients from it because, number one, I made my list bigger. The money's in the list and the fortune's in the follow-up. I keep posting and I keep putting my brand and my name in front of people. And although it is not my content, I'm finding relative content to my industry, whether it's talking about taxes, saving, accounting, whatever, topics relative to me as a CPA, and I keep posting that over and over and over, and I've actually attracted attention. See, with his small level of marketing expertise, he's tapped into these two maxims. The money is in the list, the fortune is in the follow-up. He's not doing it very sophisticated. You don't need to be sophisticated. But if he starts there, now we can start to add on other layers of sophistication. We can start to leverage technology like CRM and automation posting and SEO and other things like that. He can start to outsource to VAs or to outside writers to start to craft. He can get a videographer. He can start to do live videos. We can move him up. And guess what? He'll start to get more clients because he's tapping into these evergreen maxims in business. Hopefully this has been enlightening for you. Maybe you've had some thoughts about how you can grow your list, how you can find more fortune in the follow-up. If you deploy these two old evergreen maxims in your marketing and sales, you will attract more business. You will obtain and retain more clientele. This has been Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Growth Driven. Make it a great day.